While Jim is prepping for Alaska. He just checked the brakes on the trailer and they are fine.
And the bearings were really nice.
So now he's going to just lube the axle right.
And the suspension.
And the suspension. We have, what's those shocks? We have Sumo shocks, but then we have some type of...
can't
think of what they're called.
Dexter... I forget what they're called too.
But they stopped the trailer from bouncing so bad.
Yeah, it's like a suspension.
Yeah, that we installed about 3 years ago. And part of the prep was we bought a new truck. Now, we did not plan on buying a new truck. We had just taken the Titan and had it all serviced. And everything was ready to go. We even had an extra set of windshield wipers. Went over 100,000 miles. Everything was good. But we decided in the long run we were going to get a new truck. We just really wanted another Titan. And this is the last year they're going to make it. So we didn't want to go that way. And we kind of struggled as to what we were going to do. So we decided if we were going to go get a truck, we should get it now before we go all the way to Alaska, come back and add all those miles to the truck we already had as far as resale value. So that's what we did. This is a Chevy Silverado 2500 heavy duty LT pickup. And so another thing we did for the camper, and that was probably in another video, remember we had the blowout, and that tire's brand new. So we have the spare back here that we used, and it's been a pretty trusty spare. But we bought a second tire. So not only did we buy a tire, we bought the actual rim, and we have it set up so we will be taking the spare and one extra tire. So we will have two basically spares when we go to Alaska as far as the camper prep. And we've taken out some things out of the bag that we only use in Florida and that we really don't need in Alaska to lighten up the load. We have been checking inside the camper to make sure, like, nice to have things that we don't use all the time. We pulled all those out so that it'll have a little bit less weight on the way. So I am here at our family-owned campground, just in case you're wondering to know why we're at Ohio. My parents and aunt and uncle own a private campground here in Ohio. And we have the park model you would have seen if you've been seen any of our old videos. That's our camper. Obviously, we're not using it this year because we're going to be in Alaska. We didn't use it last year because we spent the whole summer in Florida. Like I said, that is where we live. But sometimes we like to come up here for a month or so to get out of the heat of Florida and do some fishing, but which we didn't get to do last year at all because of the new house. So I did set that up, got it ready, basically unwinterized it so that my brother and his wife and his two children, my nephew and niece, can come down with their families and use it on the weekends if they so wish to do. He's still working underneath there. So the new truck, we did buy a new cover for it. So that's good. And then Jim bought these little hooks here so that we can put the kayaks up there. And then we used the old racks that we already had for the kayaks. He just had to buy a little, was it an extension thing that you bought?
They call it a fit kit.
A fit kit is what it's called for the kayak holders. And it came, you know, with the whole total package. So we have some better cameras as far as backing up and pulling forward. There's one that does like from an aerial view, and you can see the back and the front of the truck. So that'll be really nice whenever we are backing the trailer up, because that's usually the biggest problem I have when I'm backing up, is not being able to see the front of the truck because I'm so short. But yeah, should work out pretty good. And then the last thing we did was, it came with mud flaps. I don't know if you can see here, the mud flaps are only like this short. So we bought extension mud flaps for both the front and the rear, because the other ones are just so short they didn't do anything. And then we have the big rock, this thing is called rock mud flaps. The big mud flaps that you put on the back of the truck.
The rock guards?
Yeah, rock guards. We got to put those on yet. So the hot water tank, we've checked it. So everything's good. We have one propane tank that we need to fill. And we're not taking any extra propane. We are taking extra water, which we probably don't need. And one tank, one big 5-gallon thing of gas, because we are going to spend some time in Montana, and Montana is, I know we're doing Montana on the way back, but we're going to North Dakota and Montana, and then we're crossing over in Montana. So we just want to make sure that's usually where people have the biggest issue with gas, or traveling at night and the gas stations in Canada are closed. So we just want to be prepared. We probably don't need it, but we're taking it anyways. We have on the outside to replace the 5-prong or the 7-prong plug that we have, because with the old truck we were having some issues sometimes with it shorting out, or maybe not, just not connecting good. I would say it's not shorting out, it just wasn't connecting good, and sometimes the lights wouldn't come on in the back, or they would go out, the running lights. But if we wiggled it and put it back in, everything was fine. So I think it was just a connection issue with the old truck. But just to make sure, we got a new one. We're going to put that in. And Jim has to replace the camper red box disconnect. And I think that's just about it.
Underneath the camper, we replaced the 7-way plug that goes to the truck. And it comes with a, I don't know what they call it, a gigi box or some sort of box. So it makes it easy to identify if there's a problem. And also replace the, there's a resistor, what do you call that? A breaker. There's a breaker underneath the camper, 50 amp, that all the red wiring went to it. And then, back to the camper here. And it had a cover over it that was long gone. It had broke off years ago. It was really cheaply done. They used a residential box to put all their wiring connections in. It wasn't sealed at all. It was just an indoor box. It's underneath our camper, exposed to the weather. So we put it in a box that can be sealed.
It's an outside box.
It's an outside box that can be sealed. And so is the gigi box that can be sealed.
He's going to show you here what it looks like underneath there right now.
Okay, we're underneath the camper. And this is the box. Hopefully you can see most of it there. It's kind of dark. That I installed. It holds all the red electrical wire connections. Here's the box I installed to put the 7-way pin wiring into it. And we redid the grounding connection here to the frame. And there's all the wire connections. There's the other grounding for the white wires. This camper's got the frame carries the electricity, so all the white wires get bonded to the frame. Anyway, it's a lot neater than what it was and a lot more protected, which is why we put this on.
The next thing we've done is cleaned our slide, and what we use to clean it is this rubber. So it's 3-in-1 RV Care rubber seal conditioner. We have that. And here is our window track and dry lube for the windows. That's the sealer. And then this is the slide out silicone that Jim's gonna put on right now, right?
Yep.
So we have been doing it at least twice a year, if not more, because we live in Florida and it's so hot and it dries things out, especially when we were in California. But we try to do it in the spring, so we're doing it here in the 1st of May. Today is May 1st, and then we will do it again when we come back from Alaska in September, October time frame. And then we may do it sometime in the winter, depending on if it's been raining in Florida or if it's really hot again. So we've been trying to do it at least twice a year. So he's already cleaned it, and now he's just gonna lube the tracks. Once he lubes it, I'll pull the slide in and then pull it back out so that it runs across the tracks. But it's real easy. The stuff works great. We've been using it for 5 years. And then we have the other track stuff for when the windows stick. And the only window that we have that sticks is the slide window. And sometimes the back window. Right? Those are the only two I've ever had that we have an issue with. But the back one isn't as bad as the slide one. The slide window for some reason sometimes sticks. So we use the same stuff. I think the next thing we're going to do is tune a new truck. We got rock lights, LED rock lights, and we're going to install these on the truck. Now, why would we be putting them on the truck? It's not to make it look fancy at all. We've had in the past, believe it or not, we have had a raccoon eat the wires on my son's pickup in Ohio. When we lived out in California, there was a animal that looked something like a big muskrat. It actually liked antifreeze, which normally kills animals. And Alaska is known for having the porcupines get into the vehicles and eat wires. The camper already has rock lights on it. There's a video back that you can look a couple years ago where we installed those. So we're going to stick those on the truck. You got one side done?
Yeah.
Now he's working on the other side for the rock lights for the truck.
There's our truck in the dark. You can't see anything. I want to turn on our rock lights. There's the front of the truck. And one clear to the back. We have these hooked up to a 20 amp lithium ion battery we bought off of Amazon. And this truck happened to have 2 battery trays in it. Probably because it could be either a diesel or a gas. The gas only requires the 1 battery. So we had an extra battery tray to put the extra lithium battery in with a lot of room left over. And you can change these, change the color, but from what we've heard, the strobing, they don't like strobing lights. So anything that flashes or strobes or just changes color, they must see it as movement and don't particularly like it. So that's why we chose this pattern of lights. And you can turn them off with the remote. It works pretty good. The phone app works good too, but it's just hard to figure out, even how to use it, because there's no like on off. It's just there's a button here and a button there.
Well, we have the truck completely loaded. The camper's all ready. All we have to do is roll in the awning and hook it up. We don't even have to put the jacks down, they're already up. So
hook up and go.
Yeah, everything's ready. We're going to hook up tomorrow and go. We are headed to Custer State Park in South Dakota. We're going to spend a whole week there and then about 3 days over in North Dakota, and then we're going to go to Banff and then work our way up to Alaska. So we're spending about 3 weeks in Canada if the forest fires are under control, and then we go to Alaska, and we'll be in Alaska for over 2 months. So stay with us, follow us as we go through our Alaska trip. We plan on making at least weekly uploads, and give us a thumbs up, hit that notification bell, and give us some comments. The comments really help, you know, what you like, what you don't like. Do you like our new truck? I mean, we really like it.
Yeah, it's a nice truck.
It's a nice truck. So thank you again for watching.